Okay. Greetings, salutations, internet, fans of podcasts, anyone that really appreciates adult beverages of any kind. Welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Curveballs. My name is Lee. With me, as always, we got a full panel today, boys. Sorry I missed last week. We've got Pat, we've got Jim, and we've got Tyler. Before we get started, gentlemen, we always like to give mad props and appreciation to our men and women serving in our military and the armed forces, foreign and domestic, and also to all first responders. My son is one of those. He's a deputy sheriff, so everything that they do, a very thankless job. We'll give it up to you guys for allowing us to be able to do what we do. Lots of stuff going on right now, boys. We got Major League Baseball playoffs going on. The NFL's in full swing. Lots of drama everywhere, but I'm going to leave this out to you guys, man, because there's so much to talk about. But some of the things I'm seeing in the MLB, it's not shocking, but damn, I think we got to hit on some of this stuff. So who wants to start us? And tell us what you're drinking too.
Well, let me start with what I'm drinking. So one of my customers he was going to give this to me at Christmas time, but he's going to be out of the state at Christmas time. So he gave it to me early, which was really nice. Gave me a fifth of Woodford Reserve. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Very tasty, nice brandy, bourbon whiskey, excuse me. So I'm drinking that over ice, just a little bit of iced tea over it. I don't want to ruin it. Really, really, really good tasting. I really like it. It's going to go in my liquor cabinet. I don't know how long it's going to be there, but it's very good.
Dude, I can't drink that without mixing it with something, even if it's a really high end.
I mean, a good bourbon whiskey, you ruin it by adding stuff to it. So I just have I just laced it with a little bit of iced tea, but mostly it's water and bourbon. It tastes really good, really easy drinking. Right. So something I wanted to ask you guys about. We've touched on it real briefly on our show. It just continues to. I can't be even more amazed. Clayton Kershaw, man. I mean, this guy. I struggle to think of another sport or an athlete that is so dominant during the regular season, but just can't get outs once the postseason starts, man. I've never seen anything like it. Again, before he had 3 outs on the board, Arizona scored 5 times? Is that right?
I think
it scored 5 runs. I mean, it just completely
6 runs and he managed 1 out, and he was out in the first inning after.
Yeah, I don't understand. And okay, I know there's going to be Kershaw defenders and deflectors and Dodger fans are going to say, well, he's on the taillights of his career. Okay, well, Exhibit A, back in his prime days, man, against my St. Louis Cardinals, Dodgers heavily favored opening round, and Cardinals he's gone by the third. I mean, I don't understand why. I just want to get your guys' opinion. What do you guys think about that? It's just here we are again, another postseason where Kershaw can't get outs. It's bananas to me.
It's tough to see because he literally is like Tyler we were talking earlier. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
I mean, the career that man has had, and you look at it and how he does that. And then I flipped that a little bit, and I'm going to let someone else take off on that before I finish. But then you look at Verlander and his age, and he starts a Met, and then he goes back to the Astros, and look what he did, 6 scoreless. I mean, so Come on, what do you say on that one, Jimmy, about Kershaw?
Well, first off, Verlander is a goddamn anomaly.
Yeah,
that guy. You get him into the postseason, and I don't know if you guys remember, like Dave Stewart for the A's.
Oh yeah,
Jack Morris for the Tigers. There were some guys that once they got into the playoffs, didn't matter what the regular season had, what they had to offer, but when they got into the playoffs, they were just tougher than shit. And it's just totally opposite for Kershaw for whatever reason. And the only person that comes to mind that's even close to just, and I don't know what it was. I don't even want to say choke because you play 162 games.
Sure.
And by the end of the year, you got to be tired. You're playing every day. You're traveling. That's not to mention you're working out. You're throwing your bullpen, shit like that. I just don't. I don't understand. I don't get it. I certainly don't want to say that Hall of Famers are just choking during the playoffs. But what else do you call it?
Right. It's happened too many times. right? Like
Right,
to
yeah,
not,
and
it's like undeniable at this point. He is like
Like
bad in the
I
playoffs.
get it, man. Everybody has a bad playoff run, but this is a recurring nightmare for Clayton Kershaw. Like he cannot get outs in the postseason. I don't get
But
it.
normally something like that, Pat, is a game. They have a bad
Right,
game. When you're talking
exactly.
about that
It's
kind
like
of talent,
it's a
it's
game.
like a game in the postseason, and then they move forward and they're their normal selves. I
Right.
mean, Verlander's insane. Altuve, I don't know what they're drinking in Houston, the Astros. Altuve, first pitch, home run. His what,
Jesus.
24th postseason home run?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but
But,
also
you know,
the
Tyler-
motherfuckers played a full season of playoff
Right.
base. And motherfuckers
Right.
played 162 games of
I know it.
in the
I
playoffs.
know
Dude's
it.
in the playoffs, which is crazy though. Like I think we've talked about it before, maybe, but like Houston was bad when Altuve first came up with them. Houston
they
was
weren't very
not
good.
good. Houston was
No.
not good. But so even taking some of those years off of his career, like they make deep runs every single year. Dude plays
Every year.
at least 10 games in the playoffs every year.
they're
So,
paying-
Jim,
yeah, they're paying.
Jim, I wanted to ask you, you brought up actually, Lee, you brought up Verlander and you doubled down on that, Jim. So I want to ask you, would you, in your opinion, would you put Max Scherzer in that same category when you say that Justin Verlander is an anomaly? Because Scherzer gets in the playoffs and he's pretty tight too.
I would, but I just don't think. I mean, has Max been there enough to say? I mean,
Not like
Verlander's-
Verlander. Verlander's
No.
proved it.
No,
you
I
know,
agree.
Do you
and
think-
So I'm just saying that, yeah, maybe. I mean, anytime Max Scherzer is on the mound, again, here we're saying that about Kershaw too. But
Yeah.
anytime Max Scherzer is on the mound, I'm taking that over under, or I'm taking that bet. But at the same time, Verlander, damn man, he gets into playoffs, and it doesn't matter how the end of the season has gone, what kind of a track he's on, if he's
Right.
on slumping at the end of the season, whatever, he gets into the playoffs, and he is a goddamn beast.
Yeah.
Just a workhorse. 40
So
years
is he
old,
40?
6,
Is-
yeah.
Is he 40?
I think he turned
Yeah.
40 this year. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think, yeah.
And 6, 7 innings, scoreless,
Yeah.
give 5, 6 hits, 10 Ks, 9, 10 Ks.
I know it, man.
Goddamn unbelievable in the postseason, opposed to another first ballot Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, who just, for whatever reason, man, I
Disappears.
don't know what it is.
Tyler,
Do you
you
think-
you
do you
had
think
a good
there's-
question on this.
Well, I was just gonna ask, does anybody think that there's another player who benefited from winning whatever in any sport, that the one winning a World Series in Clayton Kershaw's case? Because if he hadn't won any World Series, he would go down, and he may still, but go down as like the biggest postseason choker of all time, right? Like he benefits from that World Series. I think in 20 years, 30 years, however far down the road, when you look back at Clayton Kershaw's career, because he's a World Series champion, like we've talked about, all the regular season accolades that a pitcher
Sure.
could fucking ever have.
Yeah.
But people who watched and who remember going, no, dude, Clayton, but he single-handedly a few times lost Dodger games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like single-handedly put him so far behind so
Last
early
night.
that you're like, that's
Last night.
But right, exactly. Last night, but that's not the first time. It's not the second
Oh,
time.
I know.
I
Right,
don't
right,
think it's the
right.
third
The
or the
tough
fourth or
part
the
is,
fifth
though-
time. It's like every
The-
time
no.
he pitches in the playoffs.
Right.
The tough part is though what he did, and this is the tough part, and because we kind of were talking about it before we got started, it's no different than A-Rod. But I guarantee you this: without Clayton Kershaw, there's a chance that maybe they didn't quite get to the postseason. I mean, what he does through the regular season can't be denied, and that
I
sucks.
agree.
And that's what A-Rod did. Same thing. But then he
Yeah,
just
could carry teams.
in the postseason.
But
Yeah.
but let me but is it fair to say, guys, that as a pitcher, you control how this outcome is how it's gonna happen? You control more than one guy in your batting lineup. So we
Yeah.
can talk about A-Rod, and he would put up some ungodly numbers during the
Sure.
season. MVP every year almost. type numbers and get into the playoffs. And through one series, he'd hit 091. Then maybe he would hit one something, but that's only one guy in your lineup. And A-Rod's he has been blessed with, been surrounded when he gets into playoffs. I mean, you think about the early Mariners, the 2000 Mariners. Loaded lineup, right? Griffey Jr. and Buhner.
Edgar.
Yeah.
Same thing when he was in the Yankees, when the Yankees bought him up. I mean, same thing. I mean, because,
even more so with the Yankees. By the time you
even more
the Yankees,
so.
you were like, dude, the line, So I think what you're saying, Jim, right, is like that the spotlight shines so much brighter on a guy like Kershaw, like his playoff record and like the way that all goes down. I think, right, the spotlight's on that as a pitcher, just any pitcher, really.
Absolutely.
Because you can blow the game. You can blow the game in the first inning, but in A-Rod or these other guys, you're like, 0 for 4 again, but the rest of the team either you could still win a game with A-Rod going 0 for 5 with 5 Ks, and the Yankees still win the game.
Or A-Rod's 1 for 8 in 2 games, but he's got that one bomb that put him ahead.
Hit a 3-run bomb. Hit a 3-run bomb.
And so that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember the other 7 times where 4 strikeouts.
Right.
Whatever.
That's what makes it's sad, right? It's kind of sad.
It is.
Like Clayton, sad. With the Clayton Kershaw thing, like I'm not a Dodger fan by any stretch of anybody's imagination, but you root for guys like that. Like he seems like a pretty good dude, and he's never.
I've always liked Kershaw.
That's why I was so happy for him that he won that World Series, because he single-handedly has lost a lot of games.
But he plays the game right. And what I want to know is it fair to say, is it a fair assessment to say that at this point in time, especially after what transpired last night, is it fair to say that the playoffs are now in Kershaw's head? I mean, I feel like the playoffs are in Kershaw's head.
1,000% right. Like when he gets there, he's had some struggles, and maybe it is in the back of his head when he gets there. God, you'd hope not. As long as he's been pitching and at his age, you would hope that wouldn't be the case. I just think it's such a different level when you make the playoffs. Look at how many runs the Diamondbacks put up, for God's sake.
Jesus.
I mean, this is a whole different atmosphere. And these hitters, when they're that good, Altuve, give me a break. He lives in the postseason. Verlander, same thing as we've talked about, but those guys, it's different than pitching in the regular season when maybe that game is kind of inconsequential.
But he gives up an extra base hit, and inside of his mind, like most pitchers are like, okay, settle down, make a few pitches, I'm out of the inning. Kershaw, I feel like, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, right. You have to be. Anybody who's ever played, I don't care what level it is, if it's an elimination game. Which, it's game 1 it's not an elimination game, but how much everything's magnified that, like,
everything,
you're like, fuck, I struck out my first at bat. If you're a hitter and you're like, okay, I can't do that again. So now maybe you're so aggressive, like I don't know, I think it has to get to Kershaw. Like there's no way that he's not thinking like, I could make my best, he's got to feel that he could make his best pitch and it's going to bleed in somewhere. He just cannot get outs.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I believe that's just human nature. And I don't give a shit how tough you are mentally. This keeps happening and keeps happening. At some point, Tyler's exactly right, where you're just like that little flare out to right center. And you've just made a great pitch. And in your head, even though the ball wasn't hit hard, it wasn't, it's a single. You got a guy on first, no outs, okay? But in your mind, and this has got to be human nature. I mean, like I said, I don't care how mental.
It's here we go again. Here we go again.
Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much confidence does that put in the other team? Like the Diamondbacks had to have been like,
right.
They were not scared to face Clayton Kershaw. I'll tell you that much.
I would like to talk about that a little bit too, if we have some time. But the Diamondbacks are so young, they're so athletic. They don't know any better right now. They're just like,
and The last thing you want, I think we can all agree, the last thing you want to do to a really young team that's just trying to find their way in the playoffs is start giving them base hits.
And
Now,
runs,
now,
score
now they're
runs.
starting
and
to
runs,
believe, now
yeah.
they're starting to
Now they're
believe
confident.
the Dodgers. That's
Well,
bad. Man.
honestly, there's got to be something to be said about those people that really shine in the postseason, because that is a pressure cooker, man. When everything's on the line, this is the season.
The
You're
captain.
thankful
Well,
you
isn't
got
that
in.
right though? Like
You're
that's
thankful-
where
But that's the
legacies
thing, though. I mean,
that's where
those
legacies
guys
are made.
Yes,
Derek
absolutely.
Jeter,
I mean,
baby.
that's one of those things.
Derek Jeter, man.
Yes, exactly. So real quick, let's hit a cocktail side real quick, because I have no idea what Jimmy's drinking. He looks like he.
Oh well,
I think he's got something.
Well, yeah, of course, and it's a cold Coors Light. You know, I don't.
I'm impressed. You have not had a Green Mountain bottle
I
in
haven't
quite
seen
some
yet.
time.
Oh,
A
there
couple
might be
weeks.
there might be one over here on the other side of the table.
What about you,
So
Tyler?
the Coors Light chase with Diet Mountain Dew. How about that?
Nice.
Nice. That's totally fine. What do you got, T?
Lattes,
drinking?
baby.
Oh,
You know.
Damn, that's a shocker. I found this thing, and I don't know if you guys can see that. It's Teddy Roosevelt, American Badass. It's
Huh.
this is I saw this and the can was cool, and I'm like, Teddy Roosevelt in an Evel Knievel outfit with a sword in a Mustang or a Chevelle or something. This is a brewery that I don't even know about over in Billings, Meadowlark, and this is an Imperial IPA, 7.9%. I saw the can, I was like, I gotta have that, and it's actually really good. So I don't know if anyone can find it in their neck of the woods, but it's worth doing.
Hey,
When I die,
yeah,
I hope somebody puts me in an Evel Knievel outfit with all the other shit you were just saying, and I hope
Can
that's
you
a
literally
painting
see
somewhere.
that? There's like a guy
Yeah.
in an Evel Knievel, and the can is what sold it for
Was
me.
that
It
an
wasn't
El
so much the
Camino? Is it in the
beer.
back of an El Camino?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, I think you're right. Holy
That's
shit.
fucking cool.
No, but
That's a
that's-
cool day.
That's why I bought it, man. That's why I bought it.
I was
I was
gonna-
gonna ask on
I
the
was gonna ask
cocktail
you.
side, hey Pat, how much bourbon is in that? That's a giant glass.
It is. It is. I filled it about halfway full with my with bourbon. I add some water, splash of iced tea, threw in some ice cubes, and that's what I'm sipping on. And
Holy
when
smokes.
we get
I
done with
saw
the
you
show
take
here,
a drink of
Ounces.
it, and you said there was just a splash of iced tea and some water. I was
well,
like,
water. Yeah, well, I
Christ
started out with
almighty.
bourbon ditch. Started out with the bourbon ditch, and I don't normally drink bourbon ditch, but I started out with the bourbon ditch, took a drink, and went, I might need to add a little bit of tea with that. So, but it's good. And after I get done with the show, I'm going to put it in a go cup, and I'm going to go watch the Dolphins play. So, cheers.
Hey, Pat and Lee, you guys would know this better than anybody. Is Belt Creek? Is the brew pub still open out there?
It is.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Harvest Moon.
all right. So I need you guys. I'm sending you guys on a mission. I need you guys to go out there and see if you guys can't get a can or a growler or something of Pig's Ass Porter.
Oh, I love Pig's Ass Porter, dude. I am a huge Pig's
Play
Ass
on
Porter
that
fan.
pun. We're gonna play on that pun all day long.
Oh, no.
Pigs ass
Let me
porter.
tell
You want me
something.
to bend over?
So they
No, it
actually
is
have
like-
I'll show you a fucking pig's ass porter.
hey,
The
Hey, but
bottle,
they
the
actually have
design
that-
has literally has pigs with their back bellied up to a bar with their asses hanging out, and it's literally Pig's Ass Porter, and it is a dark, heavy beer, super good. But that's funny shit because I haven't had that in a minute.
Yeah.
But
So,
when you're drinking, though, I mean, because we're all pretty much beer drinkers. Pat delves a lot more into the harder stuff than we do. But do you guys change it up like when the weather changes? Because I know it's getting a little cooler. We're coming towards, heading towards Halloween and shit and colder months. You guys like change what you drink as you move forward into the fall?
I
Into heading
won't
towards winter?
change. I won't change, but what I will start out with, like going to the Air Force games, tailgating and stuff. When it gets cooler, I'll start drinking some Irish coffees.
No, absolutely, absolutely. See, I go for the beer end because I'm pretty much beer. I go to the porters and stouts because they're darker and heavier, thicker. I don't know why. It's just that time of year. It seems like it's the right time to do it. In the summer, it's all IPAs and pales.
can I just say
Go ahead, Pat.
that I feel like the only time I use my flask is in the wintertime. I mean, I just want to put that out there. The only time I ever use my flask is during the cooler months of the year.
That's
Tucked right into
Absolutely.
my side pocket of my jacket when I go to games. Yeah, I don't ever use it in the summertime, it's just in the wintertime. Take a
Yeah,
couple
that's
tugs when
funny.
it's,
Is it? Yeah, because is it like because the summertime is typically like party time, right? Like that's what people think of, like water stuff.
Party
and
time is
boats
all
and-
the time.
Right. I drink Busch Lights 12 months out of the year, 365
I was
days
gonna
a year.
say,
I'm saying a couple tugs on your flask when it's 12 degrees goes a long ways, man.
Well,
Right, but
that's
right,
all
is that it though? Like if you're all bundled up, you're cold and you're chilly, and you're like, did you gotta hide it a little bit? That's what I
absolutely.
mean. Like in the summertime,
Absolutely.
in the summertime, you don't have to hide it because you're like, summertime, that guy's partying. Whatever.
Yeah,
Everybody
right.
parties in the summertime. But in the wintertime,
Right.
maybe is that it? It shows your true like what is it, your true metal about how heavy of a
Yeah.
drinker you are.
Maybe. I mean,
Well-
yeah.
as long as
Yeah,
you're
I
not
could-
walking
I could
around
be
with a
part of
bunch
it.
of AA badges, I mean, other than that, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Which we probably all should have a couple. But are you
Right,
guys?
I agree.
Want to jump on some NFL though? Because we got the London game still going right now, and I know that kind of gives away when we're recording, boys. But there's some big storylines coming in the NFL. I mean, people moving, even some weird trades and signs, and anyone
Yeah.
want to jump on
Yeah.
some of that?
So what do you guys think about Justin Fields? In your opinion, would you trade the guy? Me personally, I would have traded him after last offseason. I don't think his value could have been any higher. And I was blown away when Chicago came out and there was all these trade rumors about Justin Fields, and they said, no, we're keeping him. I thought, man, dude, I know there's a team out there that would give you a number one pick for a first round pick for him. They decided to keep him. Now it looks like it's backfire. Now they're back on maybe we're thinking about trading him. And how do you guys feel? I would have
But then
traded
they
him.
just beat the Commanders, and you're like, oh fuck, is he back?
Well, wait a
Here's the
minute.
thing, though. His last two games have been better.
Even when they lost to the Broncos. Wait a minute, guys. This man, how much better can you play having 8 touchdown passes, not runs, 8 touchdown passes against 1 pick in his last 2 games? We're only 4 games into the season, fellas.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the guy, though.
Games. Well, fuck the coaches, Eberfuss, his job's on the line. You know, he's had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years.
I agree.
God, give the guy a break. He's ultra talented.
He is.
Ultra talented.
I
And he's showing everybody that he can throw the fucking football. Yeah, DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are his 2 targets, basically. But
right.
number 2 pretty good damn targets.
So you would keep him, Jim?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think
I keep it too, and I think what Jim's saying is a fact. I think it has everything to do with the atmosphere of the organization he's in. Coaches change, coordinators change.
Holy fuck, the Bears have been
Let's learn something new. Let's learn something new every fucking year. Come on, man. I mean, the guy has talent for days.
Well,
If they traded him and he ended up someplace that had some talent and a solid coaching staff,
an offensive.
wait and watch what he can
Can
do.
you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine the pressure that's on Justin Fields right now? The Bears are
it's huge.
the Trubisky Mahomes thing is going to go down 50 years. And if we look into the future, is going to go down as one of the biggest fuck ups of probably all time drafting, right?
Oh,
And
big
so
time.
Justin, look, that's Mahomes is maybe going to go down as the best quarterback ever.
Well,
Yeah,
never
he's probably
forget.
good.
Wait,
Yeah.
never forget. The Giants traded up to draft Daniel Jones. They could have got him in the 2nd round. I'm sure they.
Second? Wasn't he the second choice?
Yeah, another 1st round pick.
Oh yeah.
To move up to get. So they would have had that 2nd round. They would have had their 2 1st round picks, and they could have got him in the 2nd round. So we want to talk about draft buzz. Justin Fields. The thing about it is, I'm on the fence, Jim, and the reason why I say this is because at some point in time, the Bears got to stop ruining quarterbacks, man. When's the last time the Bears have had a legitimate quarterback?
Well,
Super Bowl shuffle, baby. Jim
And-
McMahon.
He wasn't a good quarterback. I mean, McMahon was not a good quarterback.
He was pretty good.
Well, you look at his
He had the
stats,
ball
man.
to the
It was all
fridge.
defense. He did not have that great of a
I
year.
know.
Walter Payton.
That defense.
You had a all century defense.
All century.
playing for you. But I look at Justin Fields and you turn him loose, and now he's throwing the ball, which everybody said, oh, he can't throw the ball, he can only run, right?
Yeah,
The Lamar
right.
Jackson thing. Okay, well, now he's thrown 8 touchdowns in the last 2 games
Jesus.
with 1 pick, and now everybody's still on his dick saying, oh, he can't throw the ball, I mean, now he's not running the ball. Well, what the fuck do you want out of the kid?
Right.
You
It's
want him
gotta
to
be
run
hard
to
being
another
him.
running back, or do you want him to be the quarterback and throw
And
the
how
ball?
old is Justin Fields? Is he 23 or 24? He's got to be 24, right?
23, maybe 24. I don't know. He came
Maybe.
out.
He's still young, but still
Yeah.
super young.
Yeah.
But think about it though. After the first 2 weeks, the entire nation was destroying him, lighting him up like the Bears need to get rid of him.
Yeah.
How does that feel when you're the starting quarterback?
But also realize the hype
Oh,
at
right.
the
Oh, big
beginning
time.
of the season that was expected out of him, because of the way he finished off last year. And then all of a sudden he's just supposed to pick that up with a new head coach and everything and do the same thing in the first 2 games.
Well, what about Caleb Williams looming?
Unfairly.
Caleb Williams
Oh, yeah.
is on deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Caleb
Fuck,
Williams.
why fuck
I mean,
Caleb Williams?
if they'll do the same thing to him too.
If I was Caleb Williams, I would do the Eli Manning. I ain't fucking going there.
I ain't going to fucking Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
anywhere
but-
else. They've ruined just quarterback after quarterback.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't go to
And Justin
Chicago. I
Fields
wouldn't go to
seems be-
Chicago or Cleveland probably.
Has Chicago
But-
ever had a top-notch offense? They've had stellar defenses. But have they ever had an offense that
Walter Payton, right? Like the sweetness.
Yeah,
but that's
Walter
one
Payton
but
was
I
guy.
think
one
you're-
thing though, but they
We're
weren't
going
that didn't-
back a
that
long
wasn't a
ways,
full
though,
deep
Ty.
But that's
offense.
a long time ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say you're
Long
going back
time
a
ago.
long ways before this, since they've had a legitimate, like, worry defenses type of offense. I mean, I don't. It's been decades. It's had to have been decades.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
it's
and-
bad. And who wants to go to Chicago?
Oof.
But
I mean, Chicago in my mind has turned into what Detroit used to be.
don't you
Just the
think
fucking
that Justin Fields?
abyss.
Don't you think Justin Fields is persevering through this though?
Yeah, he's
mean,
trying his
oh, yeah,
ass off, I
If you
think.
add up,
Oh yeah.
if you
Well, there is-
add
hey,
up
listen.
all the negatives against him,
Right, and there is
Yeah, and then he says, "Watch,
something.
hold on
to
here,
hang
8
your hat on.
touchdowns, 1 pick in 2 games."
Listen, there is something to hang your hat on. Inside his mind, he's like, listen, what you said, Lee. When's the last time Chicago had a team? When's the last time Chicago had a quarterback? When's the last time Chicago had an offense? If I can bring that to this team, I'll be historical. I'll be legendary. So there is something to hang your hat on that if I can, and it's in baseball, it's in basketball, it's in football, it's in every sport. This super talented player comes to the franchise, and it's really easy. That's the easy way, right? To say, I want out, I want to go to a winning team. Anybody can do that. But if you're able to take this team, this shit pile of a team, and make them good or great, dude, that is legendary, man.
If you're the face that actually is attached to turning an entire franchise around,
an entire
you're
franchise,
going to be loved in that city. Forever.
Absolutely. You'll have statues outside the stadium.
I mean, look at the worship on the refrigerator Perry.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's true though, but
wasn't
how
a very
often does
good
it happen?
tackle. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
shit, look at it. Okay, so we want to talk about, he's a young quarterback. Can we all admit, Tyler, I don't know if you've been paying attention, CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud should have been the first pick.
He is him.
I
Nothing
believe
like
over
it now.
Bryce Young.
Yep.
And that
looking
kid
like it now. Yeah.
Yep.
in Houston,
CJ Stroud, man, that he is a
oh
baller.
my God,
Straight up,
that kid.
dude has got ice in his veins. He's never
Is he going to break
never
the Ohio
rattled.
State quarterback curse?
I think he
So
could,
far,
man.
so
I
good.
really do.
And why is it? Why? I mean, people again. Justin Fields.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he broke the curse, didn't he? Because I think there's 20. I would say there's 20 teams right now that would take Justin Fields.
I think
Yeah,
you're
so-
higher than I
I
am.
would.
I think you're high as fuck.
You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think there's 20 teams. So you're saying there's only
22.
10, there's only 12 teams.
32. There's 32 teams. That might be
So
a little
there's
high.
only 12
15.
teams. I bet there's
Well,
less
okay,
than
so-
12 teams that would take Justin Fields right now.
Wait a second though. When you get past the top 10 quarterbacks, then you start getting into guys that are almost interchangeable. Really?
Yeah, I would take most of the interchangeable guys right now. By
Okay,
the
so
end
would
of the
you- okay.
season, my mind might be changed.
So let me ask you, would you take Daniel Jones over Justin Fields?
No, but he's in the bottom.
All right,
Fuck.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's no, I would not.
But I would
That was
say,
just
I
Maybe,
mean,
I don't know.
atrocious question,
You want to talk
Patrick.
about interchangeable? You want to talk about fucking interchangeable? Daniel Jones and Justin Fields. How about that? For being similar.
wait a second. I mean, I would take Justin Fields he's going to bring way more to your offense than Daniel Jones can. Dude,
That's why
Is he?
you give that
Is he?
kid, you give that kid even a mediocre line. Justin Fields, you give him even a
Daniel
mediocre
Jones
line.
just got sacked 11 times
That's
against
right.
the Seahawks.
right.
Okay,
right.
so I mean, if that's what we're basing this off of, you can't even tell. Like Daniel Jones, I'm not saying Daniel Jones is even good. He's a bottom third quarterback in the league probably.
What did they
But until
decide
Justin
for?
Fields
What did-
proves everybody
They
otherwise,
extended
he's on a
him-
shitty team too. You know,
Yeah.
Right,
like
but
their
see,
team sucks.
Daniel
Yeah,
Jones, this is how shitty the Giants are, and I'm sorry for Giants fans, but this happens a lot with them, just like it does with the Jets from time to time. They just signed Daniel Jones to a huge contract.
120
that's
million.
a blunder.
Rookie
That
deal.
was ridiculous.
$120 million.
I mean, and what he's doing now, come on, man. And they got
Well-
Miami today, and
Well, when they
no
signed- when they
Saquon
signed
again.
They have
When they
the
start-
Giants
when they
play
start-
Miami today.
Yes,
They might score
yep,
100
in
points.
Miami.
They might score 100 points today.
No, I don't think they will, but
Well, here's how bad it is. Miami has got the number one overall offense in points and yards, and the Giants have the 32nd ranked defense in points and yards. Yikes.
it'll be a fun
It'll be
game
an
to watch
absolute
if you're a
shit
Dolphins
show.
fan like we are, but
I'm
It's
I'm
not
telling you
really
guys,
right though. Like
no,
you're
I'm
gonna
going,
be bored
wait,
of it by
you're gonna break
halftime.
this up. I'm gonna be hammered by halftime. Are you kidding
Well,
me
I'm
right
just
now?
saying,
So,
like, it's
Jim-
not gonna be that fun if they're up 30 points at
Oh
half.
no, it's more fun when they're kicking ass, man. I watched that Broncos game and every score was funner than the last one. Trust me,
Yeah, but
when
how
you're a
long-
fan.
How long do you keep Tua in? How long do you keep
Right.
Ty-
I agree.
Oh, and they took him out, and our third stringer was scoring.
That's what I mean.
touchdowns.
So-
And Mike White came in, was launching bombs.
Yep.
This is a horrible fantasy play if you've got Tua.
Yeah, I agree.
It's tough
I mean,
because he's
I-
gonna.
I think so. He
if
might
you get
throw-
a big lead, he's gonna sit.
He might throw 3-4 touchdowns in the first half and stuff, but then, which is it nothing to sneeze at fantasy wise. Or do they just hand the ball to Mostert and a Shane and just
That
play him that way?
Well, with his history of injury, you pull him. Once you get that big lead, you sit his ass on the bench.
Yeah,
Or you
for
just
sure.
give it to
So,
me.
hey, question, because we got a big game between Tyler and Jim today. One, they're going to play cribbage together, and two, we've got the Steelers and the Ravens, and Tyler being the Ravens fan and Jimmy being the Steelers fan. Any
How's that
kind of wager
game
going
go?
on here?
yeah, how's that
I
game
would
gonna
say I would
No.
say that Pittsburgh has a better chance of beating Baltimore than I have of beating Jim at cribbage because I don't know what that is. And two, so
Gee.
obviously I've never played it. But other than that, I think this is pretty one-sided today.
I
And
do
that's
too.
just
I
as a
absolutely
football,
agree.
that's not talking shit. I'm not
No, I
talking-
absolutely agree.
because
So
we've
give me a score.
we've had many a time nail biters and
So
many a time
give me
not
a score,
texting
guys.
each other after the game because what the fuck are you gonna say?
go? You throw out a score.
Sorry,
I wanna
bud,
hear.
and-
Let me
Scores?
get a score. Well, what do you think the score would be? Just
Yeah, throw a prediction out.
I'm going to say 27, 28, 10, 28, 10, 27.
I was gonna
10,
say
something like
the Ravens with 10 points. I don't know the exact score, but I bet they win by 2 scores.
that. I bet you they win by 2 scores. Yeah, I
Think so?
agree with that. Their
You know
offense.
what I don't get about the
Listen,
Steelers,
Pittsburgh-
though, buddy? The first game of the season, Jimmy, the Steelers looked like trash, man, and they came in with some hype.
they
Next
still-
two games? No, next two games, they looked a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, but their defense. I mean, the game against Cleveland that they pulled that out. They literally, their defense had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but Steelers
Yeah.
are notorious for their defense. They always have been. They hire
Okay,
coaches
but
that
their
are defensive
defense-
coaches.
But their defense can't be on the field 48 minutes out of a 68-minute or of a 60-minute fucking game, dude. You know, I mean, that's bottom line.
How's Pickett doing? Is Pickett having a good year?
No, he's not, and it's not necessarily his fault. I mean,
Yeah.
Matt Canada is
I
goddamn
agree
trash.
with that. I agree.
And
I don't think it's
I'm
Pickett's
gonna
fault.
call it. I'm gonna call it right here as a Steeler fan. Love you, Mike Tomlin, but if fucking Canada doesn't go, you lose big to Baltimore today. Canada doesn't fucking go. That offense keeps looking the same way it is. He doesn't go. You need to go. Tomlin
That's
needs
tough because, man, Steelers coaches are so beloved
Do you
because they
think
last
that's- yeah, wait.
forever.
That's interesting, Jim, because do you think in any way, shape, or form Tomlin is on the hot seat? Do you believe
No,
that?
I don't, and that's a goddamn shame. He should
Okay,
be.
so that's what I was. Okay,
Because
Yeah.
if he promised widespread changes after last week, hell yeah, we're gonna make some changes. His exact fucking words. And what changes?
Is that how he
did
talks? He looks like
I don't
fucking
know.
Mike Epps.
that was kind of like Daniel
Did I-
Jackson. Wasn't
hey, did
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
that right?
Well, that's you did a Denzel, I think.
You right. Okay, Denzel. I don't hate that.
Oh yeah, that's good. Hey, did I see? Did Dallas playing the Niners? Is that game going on today?
Tonight. Yeah, don't
Dude, that's
discuss
good.
it. Listen. My fiance being a diehard Dallas fan, and I know how much all of us really don't care.
I think
for the
that's going to be
Cowboys.
ugly, man.
Well, we're gonna find out, man. And you see, they just got Randy Gregory
Yeah,
from Denver.
Talk about the rich getting richer, dude. They do
Well, I
not
know,
need
but
any
that's the
more
Niners.
defensive linemen. They don't need any more.
That's the
defensive
fucking
linemen.
Niners.
and you know,
they just got Randy
here's just
Gregory.
so it's scary that they just if you just throw it out there that they got him, that's scary enough. But they don't even stop to consider that they're in a position where they can just say, go in there and do nothing but rush the passer. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah, dude.
don't play, don't drop back into coverage. Don't worry about the
Man,
run.
I think
Just fucking
No.
go get the quarterback. I mean, dude, that is
I
bananas.
think the only hope for Dallas is if Dak has the best game he's ever had in his life.
Or Micah Parsons
And the
goes
entire
crazy.
wait, that was where I was going. And the entire team and Micah Parsons lives in the backfield owning quarterbacks,
Wait, I
disrupting
think-
plays and sacks. And Micah Parsons, I would give up a lot to get that guy on my team.
Listen,
I
I
would.
feel like somebody's got to mention Dallas's O-line, man. Somebody's got to mention Dallas. That Dallas offensive line.
You want me to
better
bring
have-
Kimberly in? She'll talk about it.
They better have an historical day. They better have an historical day against the Niners.
And I think they're
Especially-
banged up. I think they're a little banged up. That offense.
Well, I'm telling you, with Randy Gregory coming in and that San Francisco defense, that
They
gets
did
after
not need Randy
quarterback-
Gregory. They didn't need it.
What's that?
No, and Randy
By
Gregory
any stretch
of
started his
anybody's
career with
imagination.
Dallas.
They didn't. And they
Yeah,
listen.
that's
and they
what's
brought him in there
crazy.
They brought him in there for one reason and only. It's like a closer in baseball. We want you to do one thing, man.
Break Dak Prescott's leg.
That's
told-
all we
I'm sure
want you to do.
Randy Gregory landed in the Bay Area, and they went, "All right, you don't need a playbook.
Jesus.
No,
Don't even worry
No,
about
just go
learning
get-
lingo. Don't worry about fucking learning
Just
none
get
of
the
this shit.
quarterback.
We're just gonna tell you, go in there, line up, and go get the quarterback." Right?
That's it. That's all
Right.
you do.
Yeah.
Third. If we get to 3rd and 6 or longer, dude, go get him. That's
Yeah.
it.
But think
Buckle it
about
up.
this. Think about that Niner defense.
Oh.
You have arguably at every level on that defense the best player in football at those
Or
at
top
all
5.
three levels. You got
Top
Nick
five.
Bosa.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa's
Nick
a
Bosa.
freak.
You got Fred
Oh,
Warner.
God.
Fred
Freak.
Warner at linebacker.
Freak.
The
Yeah,
best linebacker in the NFL.
Secondary.
And the secondary, you got that Hufanga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from
Say that again,
Corvallis.
Jimmy.
He's
How do you
he's-
pronounce that? Wait.
It's
How do
just
you
something
pronounce it?
Hufanga. His last name is Hufanga.
Hufanga.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
that
I don't even
boy-
wanna
I can't
that
pull
kid-
it off, so I had to
he's
ask.
from
That
right here in
defense-
Corvallis.
That defense is
He's
stupid.
from right
And
up,
I
he
feel
went to
like
high school right up the road.
and something that
And he played
everybody's not
quarterback,
really
kid. That
talking
dude played quarterback in high school. He did like he went to Crescent Valley High School, which is right here in Corvallis, and he did like everything. He was like their quarterback, running like safety, linebacker, did everything.
So was something another interesting storyline that nobody's really talking about is Trey Lance is with Dallas, which, okay, not that he's going to come in and do anything, but you just got to wonder, is there anything that Trey Lance can tell Dak or that offense to? I mean, I don't think he can. I don't think there's anything Trey Lance can do that's going to stop.
If Dak listened to Trey Lance, Dak needs to just go home.
Right.
No.
But it's still the fact that he comes from the Niners organization, and you just, in the back of your mind, you're wondering, okay, obviously they're going to be saying, okay, well, I mean, that just goes with the territory. You're playing a team, and you got a guy that just last season was over there. What can he do to help us? But I don't think.
Do you think, given the Cowboys' record, especially in the playoffs against the Niners, do you think that might been a little bit of a, let's bring him over here, we're getting him dirt cheap?
Probably.
They caught him dirt ass cheap, and I think you're right. I said that to Kimberly, my fiance, because she's a Dallas fan. I'm like, holy shit, they just went and got Randy Gregory, put him in the Bay. And she's like, what? Because she remembered him when he was kicking ass and got his big contract to leave Dallas. But I'm telling you what, I think I think they're fucking playing with their heads in Dallas. I do. I think they're playing with their heads.
They're going to be, I mean, that pass rush, they're going to be sending everybody, including the towel boy, on third downs, man. I mean, it's just going to be a zero cover.
Nick Bosa's getting doubled and tripled, so there's going to be opportunity. Come on.
For everybody. Absolutely.
But has Dallas seen anything like McCaffrey?
No.
Does that whole
listen, McCaffrey? I loved Christian McCaffrey when he was with the Panthers. I'm going to tell you, and then he kind of started to fall off a little bit. And you worry about running backs because
he just started getting hurt, and the team sucked. Right? He went,
I don't
here anymore.
So then to see what he has done, basically, like he's a kid again in San Francisco.
Right.
The dude is amazing. So it's really awesome to see that, and I'm impressed as hell because running backs, you guys know. Their careers can be pretty damn short.
What's the shelf? Ty, you said it. What was the shelf life? Is it 6 years? 6 years for running backs?
Less than that. It's like two. It's like 2.
No, it's got to be more than 2.
No.
They're so replaceable.
Running backs. So you got
guys. There are guys that stick around, but on average, there's guys that stick around and they can make careers. But it's like the average shelf life for a guy that gets drafted in the NFL that's a running back is like.
It's like 3.
If it's over 2 years, over 2 years, then I'd be shocked.
Saquon Barkley is getting old when you're talking about running backs. Saquon Barkley's getting old. We got Raheem Mostert on the Dolphins, who's how old is he? 31?
You know how
31 years old. He's just fast as hell. And
Barkley is 27, and we're talking about he's getting old. That is hysterical.
But you look at how the draft goes, man, and running backs are not getting the high dollars.
I know.
Why do you think Jonathan Taylor? It took this long for Jonathan Taylor to get a contract. And he was holding out with the Colts.
But it's fascinating to me because you're right, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But when we say this guy's getting old, he's 27, dude, you have not even hit your prime in the major leagues yet.
A lot of guys haven't even got to the picks.
You're still. You hopefully got to AA.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, it's just bananas to me.
Oh wait, can we all shed a tear for the Bills that just lost to Jacksonville over in London? I mean, no.
Did they?
Bills lost?
Yeah, the Bills lost.
No.
Well, here's the thing though. So Jacksonville has been the Jaguars have been in London for 2 weeks.
Right.
The Bills flew in to play them because this whole thing, like Miami's going to go play the Chiefs in Frankfurt, Germany. For God's sakes, how's that going to go? And I get what the NFL's trying to do, but 25-20, the Jags just took down the Bills, so that puts us back in front in the Dolphins from the AFC. So
that's not that crazy. That's really not that crazy, though. The Jags are Trevor Lawrence is coming up.
And, it depends on which.
Well, it is kind of crazy. And let me tell you why, in my opinion, it's crazy because we just saw last week, and granted, I know Miami had a lot to do with this. But Josh Allen just looked like Christ in the backfield last Sunday. Like that
Oh,
guy.
he looked like, yes.
I mean, that guy looked
Unstoppable.
like easily best quarterback in the last 5 years in the NFL. I mean, the guy was fucking. There's no guarding him. He did whatever
There's
he
a
wanted.
really good chance he might be,
So,
though. I mean,
you
that guy
go
is
up
that.
against a Jaguars team and you can only hang 20 on the board. I don't see that's the part that is maddening to me about Josh Allen. 1 week,
Here's
man.
the thing, though, Pat. When you have a team that's been acclimated to the time change and everything else, and been there for 2 weeks, and then you fly in 4 days before or 3 days
I'm
before,
sure that matters.
and you're still trying to. Oh, you damn right it matters.
I'm sure it
And
matters.
then that happens.
Okay,
That has a lot to do.
so you
with
want to
it.
hear Josh Allen's stats?
Sure.
Yeah.
This isn't about Josh Allen, guys.
Right. I know.
20 for 25, 347 yards, 3 total touchdowns, and a pick. And that was with 2 minutes left in the fourth.
Wow.
Holy fuck.
So he had a good line. I mean, he did
Okay,
well.
I was watching the game, and I'm going to tell you something. The defense, the Bills' defense were penalized. They had penalties on 3rd and long that they, unnecessary roughness. Or Ed Oliver they had him backed up on the 2. Jacksonville, Ed Oliver, who was one of my favorite defensive linemen, had a
Sure.
hands to the face.
Yeah.
Penalty.
It's the ultimate team game, right? I mean, it's the
Right.
that's
Well,
football,
Jim, do
right?
you
That's
put
the
that-
ultimate team game.
Jim, do you put that on coaching, or would you just file that under incidentals?
Well, here's how and I think it does have something to do with it. I don't think it has everything to do with it. Listen, you're a professional football team. This game's been on the schedule for a long time.
Sure.
Jacksonville has been in London for 2 weeks. Okay, they're acclimated. They're practicing over there. The Bills fly in this week. Of course, they're only flying
Eating
from
bangers and mash.
Not like they're
Is that what they
flying-
do?
Bangers and
They've
mash.
had bangers and mash now for
Oh,
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what people in London eat. I just know there's a big clock there that people are really fond of.
There might be some jet lag or there may be some concentration loss or whatever. But what I did see is the Jags played relatively penalty free football, and the
That's a winning.
Bills
That's
just
a winning.
kept shooting themselves in the foot, man.
Which against
Playing football.
two evenly matched teams, a lot of times that matters, man. Who plays
Jags going in, we're 2-2. I mean, and the Bills were a juggernaut offensively and defensively.
right?
I mean, I'm sorry. Look what they did to our Dolphins. I mean, come on, man.
Oh, that was
That game after they beat Miami. They're a Super Bowl.
that was pure decimation, man. There was nothing.
That
nothing.
was on every level. The good news is we didn't have too many losses other than the highly paid offensive linemen that we really need. But
Let's
no,
do
that's
curtain
just true,
calls.
though.
Let's
And that-
wrap this up. Everybody's got
Yeah,
games
no,
to watch.
absolutely. Oh no, your guys' game's coming on Steelers Ravens. So let's
It's
get this
coming
going.
on 2 minutes.
I'm
ago.
gonna let the 2 Ravens. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Steelers for a curtain call, and then we're gonna go to the Ravens, and then I'll go to Patrick, and then I got mine. So let's go, Jimmy. You got a curtain call for us?
Mine has nothing to do with the Steelers because I couldn't be more disappointed in just the way they're going about things right now. But my curtain call goes out to a man that we've talked to over half this show, and that's Clayton Kershaw. He came out, and let me paraphrase what he said this morning. And this morning he came out with a quote that said to the effect of, well, I would rather be here and pitch bad than not be here at all.
Wow. Well done.
So there's the
He's a
ultimate
baseball
competitor.
player.
There's the ultimate competitor right there, the ultimate veteran, and the future for sure first ballot Hall of Famer. So my call goes to Clayton Kershaw for manning up and saying it how it should be said.
Yeah.
No, cheers to that. That was
Fucking
awesome.
A.
What about you, T?
I'll cheers to that. Yeah, mine wasn't about the game either. Mine was to Jason Kelce. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a new documentary out about it's mostly focused on him. Travis Kelce's in it a lot, but Jason Kelce
I
just
heard
seems
about
like
it. I haven't seen it. Sorry.
dude, Jason Kelce
heard
just
about
seems like a fucking cool dude. Like he seems like somebody that would like just hang out with people like us. He cusses on throughout the whole docu. Like, they're interviewing him, and he's just fuck this and fuck that. And
Well, he's a goddamn center in the NFL. The nastiest position maybe in the NFL. He's a center. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
maybe
But
we
he's
need
a
to hit
super
him
normal
up.
guy. Like, he's
Yeah.
a super normal guy. It films like
So
his
let's
home
blow up
life.
his social media. Let's blow up his social media and every platform that he has, and say you need to come on Cocktails and Curveballs. I mean, that's pretty.
That would be
obvious.
crazy. That would be
Yeah.
something.
That'd be badass.
That'd be beyond.
But
that,
yeah, and he has a huge podcast.
Did you watch this documentary, T? Did you watch it?
I'm not all the way through
documentary?
it, but as I was watching it, even my wife's the one that put it on, and we started watching it before the kids woke up this morning, and I'm not done with it because they wake up like very early in the morning.
Really early.
They wake
So
up
did,
not far after I wake. I wake up very early in the morning, and they are not far behind me. So I haven't seen it all.
Did
But,
Jason complain that why does my brother get Taylor Swift and
No,
no.
this was all filmed. This was all filmed prior to last season.
got you.
Get out of my
I like
fucking
that. I
football.
appreciate it.
Get out of my fucking football. You can have
Thank
the rest
you.
of the goddamn world. Get out of my football.
We
Absolutely.
didn't talk about it, but I agree, Jimmy. What about you, Pat? You got a curtain call?
Yeah, Jim will appreciate this. I want to give it up to Ohio State, man. They played a really tough Maryland team yesterday. I believe Maryland was 5-0. They were undefeated. They weren't ranked, but they got a good team. And it was a good game, man. For I think through 3 quarters, they were hanging. It was tied score. It was a close game, and Ohio State just, put their head down and said, "Let's just finish this," and they ended up pulling it out and did really well. It was good to see that there's a lot of upsets yesterday in college football. Ohio State, it was good to see that they just get in a tight ball game and they stayed true to themselves and was able to win that game, and they look good. So good for Ohio State.
Nice. No, I appreciate that. So guys, I actually have 2. The first one is super fast. And it is one sentence. Dick Butkus, rest in peace, brother. That man did more for linebackers of our generation than most people know. So he passed away at 80. So that's my first. Second one, this one actually intrigued the hell out of me. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant with the Niners.
Oh, yeah.
He's just lighting it up. I mean, you got to say he's playing fantastic, right? His contract, he's getting paid $870,000, right? He was on some, I don't know if it was the Today Show, but it was a Today Show somewhere, probably in the Bay Area. And he was talking to him basically saying, hey, yeah, I have a roommate and we split bills and I still drive my Toyota Sequoia to work every day. And the fact that this man, who is the quarterback, now I know Mr. Irrelevant and those contracts are not good, but the fact that he is keeping roommates to split the bills and driving his Toyota
Making
Sequoia,
that much money living in the Bay, dude, he's not thriving. He's
No,
not
that's the
going
point.
spending his cash on whatever he wants. Making that same
He
salary, living somewhere else in the United States, right? You'd be like, okay, yeah, he makes a lot of money. In the Bay Area,
I'm gonna
making
have my
that
own
much
trip.
money.
I'm gonna have my own
he
trip.
has
Bay Area
no
is
shit.
so
He has
expensive.
roommates. Yeah, he has
Yes.
roommates.
So, and I can't pronounce the guy's last name. It's Nick. He's an offensive lineman with the Niners. This is his roommate. And I'm going to tell you right now, he, through this interview, if you ever read the transcript, is very cognizant of financial issues. And if he stays healthy and keeps doing what he's doing, he'll get paid. And I hope he
Fuck
does.
yeah, he will.
Because I root for him. And so that's my curtain call. 2 of them, Dick Butkus, rest in peace, brother. And then to Brock Purdy for doing what he's doing.
Coolest
Good.
name ever. I'll
right.
cheers to the coolest name ever in the whole world, Dick Butkus.
Cheers.
Hey, one thing, guys, one thing real quick before we sign off. Make sure you guys, you can find us all over. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. You can email us at cocktailsandcurveballs@gmail.com. check us out on YouTube. And if you really don't enjoy seeing us, then hit us on Spotify, man. When you're cruising around, you want to hear something fun and just something that's not scripted like ESPN and everybody else. Come find us, okay? So,
Absolutely.
gentlemen, back on to NFL Sunday. So let's get going and cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.